Hey there! Welcome to Foxbox. My name is Tommy Danger, otherwise known as Firefox. Now today we're going to be working on Chuus, as well as stacking Chuus, and we're going to be working on 1.5s. Now for these motions, they both consist of a dynamic motion, where the prop is spinning in a nice wide range of motion, and it's a typical swing, and a static motion where we're literally going to be just moving the fan without having to do much other than drawing a circle with our wings. So for the case of a choo-choo, which we'll start with our fan that's on top is our dynamic motion, and the fan on bottom is our static motion. And they're going to basically be replacing each other to where they're going to be switched like this at a certain point. So what we want to do is we want to have this fan that's on top. It's going to be letting go, so it has this nice swinging motion. As it swings down, you use that momentum to pick it back up and out and grab it again at the end. So it has one big full circle. See? Swing up, swing out. Swing up, out. The fan on the bottom is going to be pulling up in that full circle. What we're going to do is we're going to make the static one on the bottom now. When it pulls up, it's going to be pulling up to the top of where this fan was spinning. So we're pulling it up so that it's just basically almost stacking on top of itself. And now my roles have reversed with my fans. Now I have my dynamic is always on top and my static's always on bottom. So in this case, since I started here, I'm going to wind up here, they're now switched. So it looks like this. We have our dynamic dropping down and out, and we have our static pulling up and to the top. So one motion. This gives that nice linear wicking isolation effect. You can pull up and through. So it looks like this top of the fan here is grabbing this wick, pulling it out, and then throwing it up onto the other side. See that? And if you notice, when my static motion's done, it's still making that full circle, right? So I can do this for a while and make a repeated choo-choo of just pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, right? The more broad I make it, the slower it looks. But typically when you do that static motion, you could stop at the top, and now my static fan is now going to be my dynamic fan, and we'll be doing the same thing, pulling down and out. You notice I have this little bit of a drop down when I go to do my dynamic spin. I do that little bit of a drop to spin out. That little bit of a drop to spin out is just to keep these two level with each other when I'm going around, so that my fan doesn't come way up here and all over the place. In order to do that, it's called a stacking choo-choo. We're still doing that choo-choo motion, but now we're leaving our fan here and just keeping it spinning once in wherever it was placed. So this one up here, we're going to be spinning here. This one here, we're going to be spinning here. You're just going to keep going as far as you can. So if we start way down here, I can pull up. Now this one's going to be spinning. I can pull this one up. This one's going to be spinning, pulling. This one's now spinning, pulling. This one's now spinning, pulling. And I can come back down with that too, right? By letting go of my now dynamic fan at the bottom, which will be my dynamic fan because that's the direction I'm headed, I can let it go and let it fall in and out to make that circle. So it comes out like this, and I can pull that down. And my static circle just moved down to there. That's how to make it stack. So now we have also choo-choos that we can do, there's choo-choos that we could do in the thumb spins. And this one's called typically a 1.5 because your dynamic hand is still doing that one circle, but your static hand is looking almost like it does a half beat across when it does its circle. So we're actually making a 1.5 right here. That's 1.5 to make the motion. And to do this, we're just going to take our thumb, we're going to be in our thumb grip this time, and you're going to be spinning your fan out. You can spin it in too, but in this case we're going to be spinning out. So my fan's in my right side, my dynamic fan here is going to be spinning in one full circle by just kind of flipping my fan out to the side and letting it come back and catching it. So the throw happens up at the top, and gravity pulls it back to the beginning. Next we're going to have this one, which is in our thumb grip, just pulling around the side here. A lot of times, typically, we can comfortably have a finger grip on this one, while this one's in a thumb grip, just because it's easier to hold onto. But typically, you want to have your thumbs in it the whole time, for both sides. You want that thumb grip to activate. So the static one's going to be picking up, drawing a circle as wide out as we can, pulling back to the start. If you pull it through the middle, it gives a nicer effect, so I typically do that when I do examples. If you stop at this halfway part and you pull through, it allows this motion to kind of look like you're taking this fan, just whipping it back into where it needs to be, which is really nice to add to it. So here we go. This one flicks out, this one traces around. Flicks out, traces around, flicks out, traces around. All together. Traces around. Flicks out, traces around. Flicks out, traces around. Flicks out, traces around. Very nice. This motion can be done in a snaking motion as well, like we learned with the last class with the snaking motion. We can take our 1.5s, got to have them slightly askew of each other, and have them trace up at the top and pull down. So we have this static motion here and placing it down back at the bottom again, while this one's just simply spinning in a circle. Right there. So up here in this little bit on the corner here, in this case it's my upper right corner, comes up and around, right? But now this can switch to our dynamic prop, our bottom fan here. We can make our static down here. So now this one switches out to come back around. So it makes a nice big circle down on my bottom left. So we have our bottom right, our bottom left. Right? And now I'm switched again. Now I'm in my top left. We can do that again up here, and then do my bottom right down there. And I'm back to start again. So I can just kind of move the fan back up and then again. It's So it makes that nice big circle. So it's actually, for a snaking choo-choo, which is essentially what we're doing here, snaking 1.5 choo-choo, is we're basically hitting the corner, hitting its opposite, and that puts us in a position to hit another corner up at the top, and then hit the opposite again. So if I start up here, I come all the way around here, I'm in a position to come down with it, but now I'm in a position where I can come back up to this corner and back down again. All based on the fact that I'm changing my dynamic. Which fan is going to be my dynamic, based on where I'm going to be on this grid. And that dynamic fan literally just spins in one spot. But when it gets pulled back, typically it's going to get pulled back to a position. The static fan is going to be doing most of the work in this case, because we're going to be pulling around and then putting it somewhere to move on to the next spot that we're doing. Right? So that's all the choo-choos, all the most basic choo-choos that I could come up with. We have our standard choo-choo, which is just a switching motion, keeping the fan in one spot. We have our stacking choo-choo, which allows the fan to, even though it's switching its dynamic still, we're just kind of leaving our static position on top and moving with it. And we have, in our thumb grips, we have our standard 1.5. And we have our snaking 1.5. Taking a live go on that one. Alright, so that's it for VoxBox this week. I hope you enjoy.